Welcome back to What If Cars. The air around it feels still, not because it demands silence, but because it carries it. The first time you see it, you don't react with surprise. You react with awe. Your body pauses. Your mind halts. You stop, and then you stare. Not because you recognize it, but because something primal in you remembers the name. Taurus. But not like this, not this form. Not this silence on wheels, this force wrapped in metallic calm. This isn't a memory. It's a mutation, a rebirth. A machine that's gone through fire and time and returned to something you never expected from Ford. Something almost too graceful, too darkly poetic to be real. It's gray, not silver, not matte, not metallic, but gray the way fog wraps around a mountain before sunrise. Gray like smoke on the edge of vanishing. The kind of gray that makes everything around it look louder, cheaper, more artificial. This SUV doesn't need contrast. It is contrast. A silhouette that lives in tension between stillness and motion, between nostalgia and reinvention. And it moves through your mind like a whisper you forgot how to translate. It sits long and wide, deceptively low for an SUV, as if it was born from a chassis that no longer believes in gravity. There's no grille, no harsh lines, no desperation for attention. Instead, a smooth, uninterrupted surface flows across its front, where only two soft slivers of light suggest life beneath the body. The lights are so thin, so subtle, they almost seem ashamed to reveal themselves. But when they do, in the right moment, under the right light, they shimmer like knife edges catching a moonbeam. You walk around it, and each step reveals a different language. From one angle, it looks like a bullet, soft, stretched, sculpted by velocity. From another, it resembles a monolith, stoic and ancient. The body curves, yes, but with purpose. No ornamental excess, no unnecessary creases. Every curve is a decision. Every panel seems held in tension by some invisible force. You can't find a start or an end. It's seamless, almost unfinished. Like it escaped the design studio before the final brushstroke, and in doing so, became perfect. Then you notice the absence of things. No visible door handles, no side mirrors, no badges beyond a single, almost invisible Taurus emblem etched onto the rear fascia. It's not shouting its presence. It's choosing who gets to notice. And if you do, consider yourself invited. Approach, and the Taurus doesn't unlock, it awakens. A low harmonic frequency pulses beneath your feet. The air suspension lowers a fraction, not to welcome you, but to acknowledge you. The lights, once dormant, warm softly, a breath. Then the doors, seamless in their design, part like layers of silk sliding open, not swinging. No hinge, no clunk, just glide, just grace. Inside, it doesn't feel like an SUV cabin. It doesn't even feel like a car. It feels like a sanctum. The first thing you notice is the silence. Thick, intentional, sacred. You sit down, and the seat remembers you. Not your profile, you, your pressure points, your breathing rhythm, your emotional signature. The upholstery is a blend of memory fabric and temperature-responsive leather that adjusts its firmness as you exhale. It cradles, not coddles. It supports without smothering. You don't feel seated, you feel suspended. The cabin is a palette of deep grays, pale ashwood trims, and bronze accents so muted they seem woven into the shadows. The dash stretches cleanly from end to end, free of clusters, screens, or controls. Only when your gaze lands in a certain place does it respond, layering holographic information onto transparent panels with zero latency. Everything is guided by where you look, how long you stay there, and what your body radiates in intention. Instead of a steering wheel, there's a half-moon control ring, touch-sensitive, pressure-reactive, and eerily intuitive. It doesn't steer the way you expect. It interprets your wrist's intention. Slight pressure, lane correction. Full tilt, corner commitment. Your fingertips trace a line across its suede edge, and the vehicle leans into your thought before it becomes action. There are no buttons, no clutter, no chaos. Just a central command strip, a floating bronze ribbon that pulses gently when your hand nears it. Temperature, lighting, all adjusted through presence, not pressure. The cabin responds to you like a room designed to understand emotion, not just motion. Everything here is sculpted around the idea that driving isn't commanding, it's conversing. In the back, the rear seats recline into what Ford calls repose position, mimicking the natural angle of human rest. Each seat has its own ambient zone, not just in lighting, but in sound and scent. One passenger can immerse in rainfall and lavender, another in classical strings and sandalwood. Between them, a floating console with detachable tablets, brushed bronze trays, and storage that reveals itself only when summoned. This isn't backseat luxury. This is backseat escape. The roof above is electrochromic, capable of simulating sunrise, moonlight, or a starlit sky with dynamic LED clusters that shift with the time of day and your emotional rhythm. You want calm? It fades to indigo twilight. You want energy? It glows gold. The Taurus doesn't ask what you want. It reads you, and then it delivers. Underneath all this serenity lies a powertrain you never feel coming. Twin electric motors paired with a capacitor array. Not just batteries, but energy memory. It learns your drive style and builds torque delivery around your habits. On paper, it makes over 700 horsepower, but you don't drive this thing in numbers. You drive it in moments. A gentle lean of the control ring, and the SUV doesn't accelerate, it arrives. No surge, no push, just movement. Forward, decisive, soundless. There's no engine noise, but there's sound. Composed by an audio engineer from the film industry, the vehicle emits internal harmonic tones tuned to your heartbeat. They change as you drive, rising gently during turns, deepening in acceleration, fading in glide. It's like driving inside a score written for your life. The Taurus features what Ford calls lucid handling mode, a dynamic suspension that shifts mass distribution through magnetic fluid pressure rather than mechanical pivots. It reads road texture, speed, and your own muscle tension to adjust ride feel in real time. The result? You don't corner, you lean, you don't brake, you exhale. The entire vehicle behaves like a dancer trained in Tai Chi, slow, deliberate, devastatingly precise. And when you park, the Taurus doesn't shut off. It transitions. The ambient light dims, the seats shift back, the roof turns to starlight, and a single chime, deep, resonant, signals rest. A car that not only understands movement, but understands when not to move. In moments like these, the past flashes back. You remember the old Taurus, the practical sedan your uncle drove, the cop car version, the fleet vehicle, the forgotten nameplate. And you realize what Ford is doing. They're not trying to revive the Taurus name, they're redeeming it. They're telling the world that something once average can be reimagined into something extraordinary, not by adding noise, but by mastering silence. This 2026 Taurus SUV doesn't follow trends. It mocks them. No fake exhaust notes, no overdone screens, no promises it can't keep. Just presence, just purpose. A vehicle born not to impress, but to restore. Because maybe that's what we need. Not faster cars, not louder engines, not more pixels and gimmicks. Maybe we need a car that makes us feel grounded, present, whole. A machine that reminds us that grace and power aren't opposites, they're companions. And when they move together, the result is unforgettable. That's what this SUV is. Not a concept, not a spectacle, but a moment. A 700 horsepower whisper, a cathedral on wheels, a memory from the future. You step out of the Taurus and the doors close themselves behind you quietly. The car lowers again, the lights fade, it becomes still. It disappears, not from sight, but from the part of your mind that needs loudness to feel alive. And as you walk away, you don't feel like you left a machine behind. You feel like you just left a dream.